Title: The Silence of the Unaired. The autumn wind whispered through the empty halls of Crestwood High, rustling papers on long-forgotten desks and casting eerie shadows against the cracked, peeling walls. The school had been shut down for years, but students still dared to trespass, sharing tales of the bizarre radio show that ended abruptly one fateful night, an audio enigma known simply as the sound of silence. It started like any other typical day for 17-year-old Mia Thompson, a curious and adventurous soul who thrived on exploring the urbex scene with her best friend Jake. As they emptied their backpacks full of snacks and flashlights, Mia suggested they check out the old radio station that laid at the heart of Crestwood High. Rumor had it that the station housed an unreleased tape from The Sound of Silence, rumored to be so terrifying, it could send chills down the spine of even the bravest listener. Mia had read every urban legend about the school, including the haunting of a disillusioned radio host named Victor Lane, whose last show spiraled into madness. They said he had gone off script, his voice laced with desperation and despair, uttering haunting phrases that sent shivers down the spines of those who accidentally caught a glimpse of his final transmission. "Ready?" Mia asked with an excited grin, her heart racing. "Always," Jake replied, his voice teasing as he adjusted his oversized backpack. The pair navigated through the dilapidated corridors, light from their flashlights flickering against the darkened walls. Occasionally, strange noises echoed from the depths of the building, an ominous creak or the distant shatter of glass, but they brushed it off as their imaginations running wild. After a few minutes of searching, they found the old radio station door. Rusted and chipped, it seemed untouched by time. Mia pushed it open, and a plume of dust ascended in the air, illuminated by their flashlight beams. Inside, the room was filled with aged microphones, old records, and a cluster of abandoned electronics. It felt as if time had forgotten this place, a tomb of sound trapped within its walls. "Here it is, I think," Mia exclaimed, spotting an old reel-to-reel tape machine in the corner covered in a thick layer of dust. With a breath of anticipation, she approached it. Her fingers brushed against the tape that seemed to beckon to her. Jake hesitated. "Are you sure we should be messing with this? What if we unleash something?" "Come on, it'll be fine," Mia reassured him, eyes wide with excitement. "This could be our chance to hear Victor's last show. People have been talking about it for years." Mia carefully threaded the tape onto the machine, her heart pounding. She hit play, and the room shudders with a low hum. For a moment, it felt normal. The familiar crackling of radio static filled the air, followed by an eerie voice. "Welcome to the sound of silence?" Their initial amusement faded as the voice grew frantic, pleading. Mia and Jake exchanged worried glances. Victor's voice echoed ominously, "You shouldn't be here. It follows. It feeds on fear." Mia's excitement morphed into unease as the sound warped, voices blending into a cacophony of panic. People screaming, whispers rising into a thunderous crescendo. The words became indistinguishable, but the emotions were palpable. A sense of dread filled the air around them, pressing against their chests. "Should we turn it off?" Jake panicked, inching toward the machine's controls. "No," Mia cried. "I want to hear more." That's when the tape stuttered, and Victor's voice surged up once more vivid and terrified. "You're not alone. It knows. I can hear it, behind the walls. It eats away at your sanity." Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered before plunging them into darkness. A frigid breeze rushed past them, and a whisper danced on the edge of their hearing, a soft, mocking laughter that echoed through the room as Jake shot up in alarm. "Mia, we need to get out of here." He scrambled toward the door, but it slammed shut, sealing them inside. Panic surged through Mia. "Let me stop the recording." She ripped her hand away from the machine, but it wouldn't turn off. The haunting audio overpowered them as shadows closed in, engulfing the room in darkness. "Stay close," she shouted, grabbing Jake's arm just as the laughter intensified, retching into manic howls. The walls seemed to pulse, narrowing around them as if the very building came to life. "Mia," Jake screamed, ripping himself free for just a second, only to crash into the wall. "It's trying to get in." Mia's heartbeat thundered in her ears as the sound of the radio reached a fever pitch, desperate voices mixing with haunting laughter. Shadows twisted and turned, dragging the echoes of dread toward them. The sound morphed into something otherworldly, and the floor beneath them rumbled with an ancient chorus of despair. Then everything stopped. Silence. Cold, consuming silence enveloped them. They stood, frozen, the only sound their heavy breaths. "Mia," Jake whispered, his voice cracking. And then they heard it, a soft tinkle of laughter, creeping behind them, growing louder and more mocking. Their grip on reality began to waver. In a flash, the radio cut back to life. But this time, it wasn't Victor's frantic voice that echoed through the room. It was something much darker. "Welcome to your silence." With that, the shadows rushed forward, melding into a single shadowy form that engulfed them. Mia and Jake vanished from Crestwood High that night, consumed by the legend they sought to uncover. Days later, the old school stood alone, and the radio tape sat silent again, waiting patiently for the next curious soul to stumble upon the horrors within, where the darkness whispered, and laughter echoed in their torment.